You are standing at a long marble counter. The stool beneath you swivels just slightly when you shift your weight. In front of you is a glass of something cold, cherry phosphate maybe, or a chocolate egg cream. And the man behind the counter knows your name. Not because he looked it up, because you were here last Tuesday, and the Tuesday before that. That place was the soda fountain. And for a good part of the 20th century, it was one of the most ordinary, most reliable, most quietly beloved fixtures of American daily life. Then, almost without anyone noticing, it was gone. The short answer is this: it was squeezed out by fast food chains, by suburban shopping patterns, by changing tastes and the rising cost of labor. But that answer does not really tell you what was lost. And something genuinely was lost. Not just a place to get a cold drink, but an entire texture of daily life that has no real equivalent today. To understand what the soda fountain was, you have to go back to where it started: the pharmacy. In the mid-1800s, carbonated water was considered a health product. Druggists sold it from pressurized dispensers, and they began mixing it with flavored syrups and medicinal compounds to make it more palatable. By the turn of the century, the soda counter had become a permanent fixture inside most American drugstores. The pharmacist and the soda jerk were often working in the same building. Sometimes they were the same man. By the 1920s and into the 40s and 50s, the soda fountain had become something far richer than its medicinal origins. Walk into a drugstore on any main street in America, and you would find it: a long counter with revolving stools, a gleaming back wall of syrups and chrome spigots and shining equipment, a display case of candies and sundae fixings, and behind it all, a soda jerk. That name came from the jerking motion used to pull the carbonated water lever. These were skilled workers. They memorized orders, built layered sundaes with practiced speed, and knew the difference between a proper ice cream soda and a hasty one. The menu was a small world of its own. There were phosphates, which were carbonated water mixed with flavored syrup and a splash of acid phosphate for a slightly tart, fizzy bite. There were egg creams, which, despite the name, contained neither egg nor cream, just milk, chocolate syrup, and seltzer, combined in a specific order that seemed to matter more than it should. There were milkshakes and malted milks, banana splits and hot fudge sundaes served in glass dishes. And there was cherry Coke, made from actual Coca-Cola syrup, mixed by hand, not dispensed by a machine. The fountain was not just a place to eat, it was a place to be. High school students came after school and settled onto the same stools for an hour over a 15-cent soda. Young couples sat together at the counter on early dates because it was public and easy and comfortable. Mothers stopped in with their children after a downtown errand. Older men came in the morning for coffee and stayed for conversation. The pharmacist knew which regulars were having a hard week. The soda jerk knew who liked extra syrup. Nobody called it a community space, but that is exactly what it was. It also sat inside something larger. The soda fountain was part of the whole ecosystem of the American downtown: the five and dime, the barbershop, the lunch counter, the movie theater, the hardware store. These places all supported each other. You came downtown because everything you needed was there, and you stopped at the fountain on the way in or out because it was simply where you stopped. The fountain had foot traffic built into it by habit and geography, and it gave back warmth and familiarity in return. The decline came from several directions at once, and none of them were sudden. The first pressure was suburbanization. After World War II, American families began moving outward from city centers in very large numbers. The downtown strips that had anchored the fountain started losing their main stores. Shopping malls pulled retail away. Foot traffic thinned out. The casual walk-in customer became harder to count on. At the same time, the fast food industry was taking shape. McDonald's and its early competitors offered something the fountain could not easily match: speed, consistency, and very low prices, made possible by industrial food systems and minimal training requirements. A soda jerk was a skilled worker who expected fair wages. A fast food counter required no training at all. The economics were brutal, and they were one-sided.
There were other pressures as well. The drugstore chains that began absorbing independent pharmacies through the 1960s and 70s had little interest in maintaining fountain equipment. A soda counter took up floor space that could hold more profitable merchandise. The equipment was expensive to service. Health codes in many cities grew stricter, and meeting them added cost. Insurance made open food preparation at a public counter more complicated than it had once been. And so, one by one, the marble counters were pulled out and replaced with shelves of shampoo and vitamins. By the late 1970s, the American soda fountain had mostly disappeared from ordinary life. A few survived in old-fashioned drugstores that had resisted change, or in diners that had carried on the tradition. There are small revivals today: craft soda shops, artisanal ice cream counters that borrow the look and feel. But they are novelties. They are destinations. They are not the place you stopped at simply because it was there, because it was Tuesday, because you were thirsty and it was familiar. That version of the place has not come back, and it likely will not.
What disappeared was not only the cherry phosphate or the hand-pulled egg cream, it was a certain kind of unhurried public belonging. A place where no one expected you to spend very much or stay very long, where a counter stool was enough of a seat, where the transaction was small, but the familiarity was real. The soda fountain was, in its quiet way, a place where American daily life paused for a moment before moving on, and once it was gone, that particular kind of pause went with it.
If you remember a soda fountain, the sound of the carbonation hiss, the cold glass in your hand, the sound of your name when you walked in, leave a comment below. And if you know a place that still has one, I genuinely want to hear about it. If you found this worth your time, a like helps more people find the channel. And if you want to keep exploring the everyday places and quiet habits that shaped American life, there's more here waiting for you.